Hey guys, it's Heather from Kell of a Plan, and today I'm doing a video just kind of updating you guys on how I'm using my Faith Warrior Planner so far this year. I've had a lot of questions about it and what I'm doing to make it work for me, because it is kind of a unique layout, and it's kind of a hard layout to adjust to. So I just wanted to kind of share with you guys how I've been using it so far, just to kind of give you some inspiration in case you're stuck on this layout. So the Faith Warrior Planner was part of the Happy Planner Girl line that released with the Happy Planner Girls. So that it was carried, I think I know it was at Hobby Lobby. I can't remember if it was at Michael's and Joann's, but I'm just going to walk through how I have it set up so far. So I'm not really using this page. This is technically the monthly currently page, but I'm not really using it. I'm just kind of ignoring it. Then I put in this folder. It holds our tithe checks here when we need to take them to church. And then here I just have some stickers in case I need them on the go. Then I put in some paper from the Faith Warrior line here at the beginning. I think I'm going to have to find some more because I've already almost used it all. I need to see if I have some more on my shelf. But I'll show you how I use that here in a minute, okay? So then we log into January. We flip to January, and right away you're going to notice that I don't have a monthly spread. Last year, I used my monthly spread to write my verse of the day. But this year, I'm actually writing my verse of the day during the weekly section, or at least I am in January. So since I wasn't using the monthly view, I just taped it together. I just took my Tombow adhesive tape runner. I took the permanent one, not this one. This one's removable, but the other one. And I just ran some tape and I taped it together so that now when you grab the January tab, it just flips right to the first week. So this was the first week, and this planner is technically, let me show you what it normally looks like. So normally it's set up with the SOAP layout, which SOAP is a way to read scripture and kind of learn a lot about the scripture that you're reading. I have a video on how to do SOAP in case you're interested in using this layout, but that's not really how I use my planner. That's awesome if that's how you use it, to really dig into specific verses, which I kind of still do that on my own, but I don't actually like write it all out. For my faith journal, I write notes from books that I'm reading, whether it's a Bible study that I'm reading or if it's like a Christian chapter book, whatever it might be, I write notes from it. So in January, the first 3 weeks, I was reading this book, Giddy Up Eunice, by Sophie Hudson. And it's basically all about why women need each other and why women especially need each other in the church. And it's just like a chapter book. But it talks about different women in the Bible and how they helped each other and did life together. And so I basically read a chapter a day, and then I would take notes in my journal from the chapter, basically like an overview of the chapter, something I want to remember, because I probably won't ever read this whole book again, but I will flip through my planner plenty of times. So I would write down things that I would want to remember from this book if I'd never picked this book up again. So, sorry, let me turn my phone on silent. So the first week, I wasn't really sure how to use it. So I took some thin washi. This thin washi from the Happy Planner is awesome for this planner because the washi fits perfectly to cover up those spots if you don't want to do soap. So I have tons of this, like a whole jar, and I'll probably have more somewhere else. And I just keep it on my desk so that I can cover it up each week. So the first week, what I did was I wrote at the top something that I was grateful for every day. And I even put this little sticker that says, start each day with a grateful heart. And so that week I tried to write each day, I would try to start off by writing down something that I was thankful for that day. And then I would do my verse of the day here. And I know a lot of people are probably going to ask me where I get my verse of the day. So I have the Bible app on my phone. It's just called the Bible app by YouVersion. And when you go to the Bible app, you can click on the More tab over here, and then you click Verse of the Day, and then it gives you a verse every single day, which is really awesome. I've been using it for a while. And so I put these stickers that say key verse, and then I wrote a verse for each day. And I like doing that, but then I found that just one box down here for journaling wasn't enough for me, because I like to journal a lot from that book, because like I said, I'm probably never going to read that book again, but I like to write down key ideas because I probably will flip through my journal again. And so that wasn't really enough space for me. So you're going to see in the next week how I kind of change that up, but that's how I used it the first week. And then over here, this technically has, let me show you what it normally looks like. It normally has, well, a prayer list section, and it says prayer list. I actually covered that up with a sticker because I knew that I wouldn't use it for that. I noted what book I was reading and what chapters, because I read one chapter a day during the week, and then on the weekends I just did my verse of the day. And then this was just a quote from one of the pages that I really liked, and so I wrote that on the side. Okay, so that's how I used it the first week. And then when you turn the page, normally, let me show you what this normally looks like. Normally when you turn the page, it has sermon notes, study notes, then it has how you're loving well this week. It has a habit tracker, has blessings this week, and it has things you're grateful for. Well, I knew right off the bat I was going to need more than half a page for my sermon notes. We have an incredible pastor who has so much wisdom, and I usually write 2 pages, like 1 page front and back of his just every Sunday. And so I knew that this would not be enough room. And I also knew that I probably wouldn't actually fill this in. I think this page is awesome, but I just know myself and I know that I wouldn't take the time to actually fill this in. So what I do is I take one of these note pages that I showed you that I have at the front, and I tape it on top of that other page. So this is taped together. You can maybe see if I pulled it apart. It's taped on top of that because I knew I wouldn't use it. Now, this particular week, I showed you that I didn't really have a lot of journaling space, and chapter 4 of this book I really enjoyed. You can see I had a lot of extra quotes. So I actually used this extra page that week for notes from my reading, and then I only used 1 page for the sermon notes. So you'll see that I kind of did that a little differently than what I did in later weeks. But here, I knew that I wanted to use this whole page for sermon notes, and it doesn't really bother me that the top is blue, or the bottom is blue and the top is white. Like, that doesn't really bother me. So I just took some washi and I covered up where it said study notes. Then I laid these little circles down because I thought they would be a cute way to kind of highlight key ideas that kind of stood out to me. And then I took my notes here during church on Sunday. So I really, really liked how that turned out. And it actually worked out that I didn't need another page for notes. Normally I'd take a lot, but I guess that week I didn't really take a lot. So that is how I did it the first week. So then the next week in my faith journal, you'll see that I kind of switched it around a little bit. So instead of writing my verse of the day here, I moved it to the top row, and it's worked out a lot better. I still have plenty of room to write. I'm used to writing my verse of the day in these small boxes because last year, for an entire year, I wrote my verse of the day in the box on the monthly page. So I'm used to writing a verse in a small box and making it fit. So I really like it here at the top of the page, and this is something that I just do right away. Before I do any reading for the day, I open up my app, I write it down, and I kind of reflect on the verse myself, and not actually writing like down the reflection. Sometimes I go and read the surrounding verses around it to get the context. But that's how I switched the top row. And then I started using both the middle and the bottom row to take notes. So on Monday, I then had these notes and these notes. Sometimes the notes were totally separate thoughts. Most of the time they were, like this was a thought and then this was a thought. But there's some days that you'll see where it's actually just like a continuation, and I just continue to write. It's your journal, whatever works for you. It has been hard for me to switch my brain to this vertical journal taking because for the past 2 years I've used a horizontal faith planner. So this has been a little tricky for me, but I do like it. I'm learning to like it. So again, I covered up the prayer thing over here. I like to mark here what book I'm reading so that if I ever read something here and I'm like, that was really good, what book was this? Then I can look over here and remember what book it is. And then here I had another quote from that week. Okay. And so again, one thing that was a little bit different is on the weekend, I don't actually read my study on the weekend. I normally just do during the week. And so here I had an extra journaling space, but it actually worked out because there was one day, I don't remember what chapter this came from, but there was one day where I wanted to write this down and I needed the extra room. And so I just took up this space because I knew that it would be open. And then I just wrote as if it was 2 boxes, or 1 box, as if it was 1 box instead of 2. So that's how I use it that week. And then the next week, you'll see my sermon notes again. I glued down this page or taped it down again. I covered up where it said study notes just with a sticker this week. And then I took my notes. You can see it's 2 pages long, and it turned out really well. I really like how it turned out. Okay. This is really working for me. And I think that this is one of my favorite parts of Faith Warrior because last year my sermon notes were just all in the front together, which I liked because you could flip through them all and kind of see like one week after another, but I really like how now they're with the week that they happened in. I really like how it's like my personal study, my sermon notes, and then my personal study. I actually need to move this because it's the 20th today, and this says sermon notes, but that just helps me to know where to flip for the next week. So I'm going to pop that into next week. Okay. So these were the sermon notes for that week, and I just put the title, who's preaching, and then the date. And then here, this was this past week, and again, I just took some washi and covered these up. This week, I put my, up here, I put what I was reading, and I can actually put, it was chapters 11 through 13, because I finished the book this week. And this week, the book only had 13 chapters instead of 15 chapters, so I had a little extra journaling space, which was again good because I had a lot to write this week. And I can also color that in for Friday. And then I didn't color in Saturday and Sunday because I read Monday through Friday. Again, I journaled the days. Sometimes the thoughts were continuous, sometimes it was a thought here and then a thought here. It just kind of depended. Like here, this was one continuous thought. You can kind of see because this is numbered 1 and this is numbered 2 and 3. And the washi breaks it up. And I know that some people, it might bother them that breaks it up because they would just want to be able to keep writing. For me, it doesn't really bother me. So I knew I wouldn't use this space, so I just put a box and a quote. And then I did the same thing over here where I just used these 2 boxes as if they were one box. And then at the top, again, I wrote my verse of the day. And it worked out really well for me. And then the next is the sermon notes again. I wrote the title, who preached, the date. I taped this on top. I added in these circle stickers. These are from the Supermom book. And I just love how they add in like your eye is drawn to them for those key details. I really like that. I think it's cute. And then I covered up where it says study notes with the washi, and I just love how this looks. And I love that. I think that's really my favorite thing, and it's one of the reasons why I keep pushing myself to figure out this layout, because I love that it's this and then this together. I love it. So this is this next week. I'll start this tomorrow because I'm filming this on the 20th. So I'll start this tomorrow, and it's pretty much going to be the same thing, a little bit different. So I have my habit tracker over here. I'm going to put a focus for the week and then 2 habits that I want to track. Here is I'm starting a new book this week, and so I'll probably write the book and the chapters here, and then maybe some key ideas in these bubbles. I put the washi down. Here I put labels. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to label it yet, but I was kind of thinking about doing my verse for the day. And then here I was considering mixing it up a little bit and doing like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and just journaling across like a whole day and having one for Monday through Thursday, and then not journaling on Friday, but then writing in a horizontal way. I'm considering it, but I'm not sure if it would drive me crazy that this says Thursday or this says Wednesday, but the dates. But it's also my journal, so it's kind of, I can kind of decide for myself. So we'll see what I end up doing this week with that. And then I've already set up my sermon notes for next week. I've already glued the page down, added some cute washi that matches the washi over here. I covered up where it says study notes. It's super cute. And then this will be next week. You can see I haven't done anything with next week yet, but I will probably, again, cover these with washi. So that is where I'm at right now with the Faith Warrior. I will say it has been a hard adjustment for me. And I actually bought this planner from a planner babe who said she had an extra one because I was getting really, I wouldn't say frustrated, but I was missing my horizontal journal. Sorry, it's got the glue dot on it. I probably should have pulled this off beforehand. Okay. Plus this cover is gorgeous. The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. I don't really like the inside cover, but that's okay. And this planner is so pretty, but it's the horizontal layout. So I'm considering maybe using this like every other week. I really don't know. I haven't decided because I do miss the horizontal, but at the same time, I'm starting to adjust to this. So we'll kind of see how it goes. But yeah, that's how the Faith Planner is playing out for me so far, how I'm using it. I hope that gives you some ideas on how you can be using your Faith Planner. And if you like this video, I hope you hit the like button. If you want to see more of my videos, hit the subscribe button, and happy planning.